Billions were frozen. How did this happen? It began in Luanda. She was the president's daughter. She had access. State contracts flowed to companies she controlled. Licenses and privatizations followed. Early corporate filings show the first seeds. Small companies became holding vehicles. One decision turned private privilege into a global corporate web. That decision was simple. Hide the owner. Move money offshore. Layer ownership through shell companies. Put nominee directors on paper. Buy banks and use them as shields. By owning banks, scrutiny thinned. Transactions routed inside friendly walls. Regulators looked past. The consequence was speed. Wealth moved fast. Reinvestment looked clean. Summer parties followed. New logos appeared. Telco towers went up. Media groups signed deals. Banks took stakes in other banks. Luxury goods arrived. But at home, the lights went out. Schools closed early. Roads stayed unfinished. A teacher we find in Luanda speaks through a cracked voice. Her class waited for a promised school. The promise vanished. The empire grew, and ordinary lives frayed. Inside the files, the record frays too. The leaks grew. 71,500 documents spread across inboxes and hard drives. False valuations appear. Board minutes are blank or copied. Dividends jump overnight. Related party deals repeat in patterns. Auditors raised flags. Shells repaid shells. A single payment duplicated 3 times. These are facts on paper. Each paper adds up. Then a flood. Journalists published the files. Investigations began in several countries. Courts issued freezes. Banks stopped payments. The name crossed news feeds worldwide. Asset lists were sealed by order. That turning point tightened the net. Reputations collapsed. Lawyers filed suits in Lisbon, London, and Luanda. Regulators began to map the tangle. Projects halted. Workers lost paychecks. Clinics closed. A community project we filmed stood half-finished, its steel rusting in the heat. A former manager shows us canceled invoices and a payroll list. He points to line items marked "related party." He says the money was never meant for the people. Creditors sued. Banks sued. Governments froze accounts. The human cost multiplied. We then traced the paths. 400 shell companies sit at the heart of the network. They feed into holding firms in offshore jurisdictions. From there, funds route through banks. Some banks were owned or controlled by the same circle. That ownership changed the rules. Transfers that would flag as suspicious in one system cleared in another. One chain routed 100 million in small steps. Another used trade invoices that never matched cargo. These are not guesses. They are reconstruction by transaction trail. New risk appeared with each reveal. Risk 1. Nominee directors hiding names on filings. Risk 2. Shell companies with no staff or offices. Risk 3. Banks used as internal clearinghouses. Each risk was a choice. Each choice made recovery harder. At the midpoint of this story, you can read the documents and see the maps for yourself. Visit our project site to follow the wiring and the lists. The legal fights are messy. Mutual legal assistance requests drift between courts. Civil suits seek unexplained wealth orders. Criminal probes demand evidence across borders. Some countries cooperate. Others resist. Some assets are seized. Many more stay in limbo. Partial recoveries trickle back to state coffers. The bills for delayed projects grow. Forensic economics lays out the ledger. We start with beneficiaries. Then we track the transfers. We map parent and child firms. We date directives and match them to payments. We flag valuation stretches. State assets sold for a fraction of their worth. We show where profits were siphoned through management fees, consultancy contracts, and phantom loans. Each node tells who profited and how much slipped away. The charts are ugly. They are precise. They point to levers for recovery: civil forfeiture, asset restraint orders, cooperative banking subpoenas, and transparent beneficial owner registries. A new consequence surfaces with each legal motion. When one account is frozen, a company pays itself from another. When a registry is demanded in one country, ownership aliases shift to new shells. A recovery order in one court spawns arbitration in another. The system is fractured. Forensic work must follow every strand. We spoke to the people left behind, a nurse whose clinic lost funding, a foreman whose crew was laid off overnight, a whistleblower who once signed off on invoices. He says the routine was normalized. He says the bank ownership meant fewer questions. He feared for his safety when he spoke up. Their stories show the human toll behind balance sheets. Then the defenses begin. The witch hunt line emerges. Public statements call the probes political. They claim bias. They call it a smear against a family. Forensic records do not respond to slogans. Papers do. Transfers do. Company minutes do. The work is to match words to ledgers. The world listens to both. New decisions arrive at each hearing. Lawyers argue privilege. Courts weigh documents. Governments decide whether to press charges or negotiate settlements. Each choice shifts where money can be recovered and how fast public projects can resume. Forensic economics offers solutions, but they are not magic. Civil recovery can seize assets shown to be purchased with unexplained wealth. Mutual legal assistance can compel banks to hand over records. Beneficial owner registries can stop nominees from hiding people. But these tools require coordination. They require political will. They require time. We map where the $2 billion empire sits now. Some assets are frozen in Europe. Some accounts remain inactive in offshore havens. A handful of properties were sold and moved again. Some funds were returned after settlements. Much remains contested. The ledger is open. The final lesson is stark. Secrecy breeds dynasties. Bank ownership can be a shield. Shell networks can hide flows on a global scale. Fixing this will not be quick. It will need laws that force transparency. It will need banks that refuse to be clearinghouses for abuse. It will need judges who enforce cross-border orders. It will need watchdogs who follow the money, not the headlines. If you want to hold power to account, demand public beneficial owner registries and stronger cross-border cooperation. Push for laws that make banks disclose the true owners of the accounts they hold. We close on a simple image. A half-built school sits under an empty sky. A forensic chart fades over the walls. One by one, the shell names blur into a line item. Unpaid bills, stalled jobs, lost futures. The network still exists on paper. Some accounts are still free, but the freeze has shown the world where to look. Justice will be slow. Recovery will be partial. Reform will be contested. Yet these files and these people insist on one truth. When secrecy meets power, harm follows. The question now is whether systems can be changed so the next dynasty cannot build the same web. If you have time, read the files, see the wires, follow the maps, then ask your leaders to make the rules clear and the owners visible.